Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending Ontrack's latest webinar for asset management solution features that provide big value to busy marketers. If you've signed up for this webinar, welcome. You are in the right place. We're about to begin and we'll get started in just a moment. The next 45 minutes will provide you with 4 valuable ways marketers can maximize their marketing asset management solution use, easy tips and tricks for sales enablement and brand control, hidden features that will make a big difference, and even a special giveaway for one lucky winner, specially selected via our sending platform. Before we get started, here are a few housekeeping items. I'd like to remind everyone that your microphones are muted. However, you can use the chat function at the bottom of the screen to submit a question at any time. We'll answer these at the end of the session, and if we happen to run out of time before getting through all the questions, we'll answer directly to the questioner by phone or email. We'll also be testing your marketing knowledge with a few polls throughout the webinar, so get ready. If you're having trouble hearing or experiencing any technical difficulties throughout the webinar, just let me know by typing in your issue into the chat window. I will be available and ready to reply and help for the duration of the webinar. And remember, we have a giveaway in the 4th segment of this webinar that you must be present to win. Okay, it is noon here in Atlanta, which means it's Ontrack webinar time wherever you are watching from. So without further ado, let's begin. Welcome everyone to the Ontrack webinar for asset management solution features that provide big value to busy marketers. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and toss it over to Sheila Drenning, Customer Success Manager at Ontrack.
Thank you, Carrie. I am not seeing, okay, there we go. Seeing the screen. Okay, so hello everyone, thanks for joining. As Carrie mentioned, I'm Sheila Drenning, Customer Success Manager for Ontrack, and there's an interesting fact about me. I'm actually a former Ontrack workflow customer. So I'm excited to be here with you today to share our information. Let's start out with a stat that will shock any marketer. How much of your time do we spend on routine tasks? According to HubSpot, the average marketer spends almost a third of their time completing repetitive tasks, 1/3 of our time. Now we have a hunch that you don't want to devote this much of your time doing the same task over and over. And our goal today is to give you some concrete ways to change that. I'm pleased to introduce my co-presenter for today's webinar, Ontrack's very own CEO, David Van Dyke. And David, I'll turn it over to you to walk us through the topics that we're going to cover.
All right, great. Thank you, Sheila, and thank you all for being here. I'm guessing that if you're here, that you're interested in learning more about brand asset management, brand control, sales enablement, employee retention, or sending platforms. So no matter what it is, Ontrack will be able to cover that. So we're going to go on and move on to the 4 little topics today. Let's go ahead and there we go. So how can a marketing asset management platform help you? So number 1, a single source of truth. One single consistent way to access all your marketing collateral, sales enablement tools, anything you can imagine that you want to put out there for everybody to access. Your workflows and multi-level approvals, we can put that stuff out there as well and show you how to automate repeat tasks. So therefore, you are not having to do stuff the old way, via notes or emails or phone calls. 3, tracking and reporting. Everybody's got to associate an ROI with things today. We can show you how to associate your ROI with your sales campaigns. We can show you how to, basically associate whether people are using your new marketing tactics at your different locations, and we'll get into that. And also a sending function or sending platform to help sales close faster, sales enablement, and HR, maybe employee retention, and what have you. So anyways, we will go ahead and move forward and keep staying on track.
I have a feeling we're going to hear that topic a lot. So as Carrie promised during the introduction, we're testing your marketing knowledge with a few polls. And for our first question, how often does the average employee switch between tools daily? So the question just popped up with a poll. If you guys would take the time to answer, is it 100 times, 600 times, or 1,100 times? How often does the average employee switch between tools daily? Are the responses coming in, Carrie?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, perfect. And how did we do?
25% of participants answered correctly. We got
Excellent.
A lot of 600 times. But
Okay, so this stat actually surprised me a little. Sounds like it might surprise you guys as well. So I know we're constantly on our computers and our phones, and we're multitasking between numerous apps and tools and platforms, but I didn't realize that the number was this high. that the average employee switches back and forth between tools 1,100 times in a day. So not sure about you, but I know I often suffer from app fatigue. But we do have good news for you. Ontrack Workflow can actually help reduce this number for both you and your associates. So the next slide. The Ontrack portal is a centralized platform, and David is going to tell us more about how our customers use Ontrack as their single source of truth for all of their assets and all of their brand materials. And you'll see how easy it is to manage assets across multiple locations while keeping rogue users under control with consistency. So David, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, great. So on to the next slide. What do we have? So, and Sheila, I doubt anybody out there has, marketing vigilantes or rogue users. So, but if they do, we can stop that. What you're looking at is everybody in the orange is what we call end users. So whether it's a sales or a partner, field marketer, local office, franchisee, communities, volunteers, and typically what they ask marketing for are a number of assets: digital assets, proposals, emails, presentations, promo items, brochures, direct mail, forms, sales sheets, sales enablement tools, kits. We even have a customer that we have some customers that actually have kitchen sinks, potato peelers, and cutlery out there. So you're going to give people access, your end users access to everything, and prevent marketing from having to make these little small changes to the items. So we're going to set them up on Ontrack. From there, they can make their own changes. They can download the items. They can send the items directly to vendors. You can set up different workflows, obviously, where you can go through marketing or legal or approvals or purchasing before they go to vendors. You can send them to consumers, customers, or prospects. So no matter what asset you have, anything that you want people to have access to or people are requesting, we're going to get all your assets on track. So another thing people are asking for is, what does the homepage look like? And I know everybody has their own branding style. So we'll go on to the next page. And so here's a couple of examples. We will set up the homepage to match your branding style. If you're looking at the one on the left, we have the ABC company, and that's more of a sales enablement tool. So you'll see there's a power user. So who's using the system? And then we have success stories. What are the other reps using and what's successful so everybody can learn. But you want sales reps competing against each other, but you're also going to give them their top gifts and what's new and explore new ideas. And so this is more of a sales enablement type platform. Or homepage. And then we have the Saks underwear, which is one of our customers. And theirs is more of a digital asset management platform. So they have access for their local stores to download product shots or catalogs or seasonal things or any kind of images or videos that they want to be able to post and market for them. We'll go on to the next slide. And here is more of a brand asset management. Once again, it's easy to access, but we will make it look and feel any way you want, but it's easy to access. You've got categories on the left, you've got forms, business cards, the corporate store. You can have anything you want out here, along with some, quick pick items on the front, easy to get to, but no matter what there is, it is an easy way to access everything. All right, so we'll match whatever you need. So one of the success stories we have, I guess on this is a large franchise, which that wasn't a large franchise when they first started. They were a small franchise. And one of the problems they had is they had district managers who were having to go and pick up everything, place the orders. And so once they got on track, they were able to scale everything. So after they got on track, they were the fastest growing franchise in the US for the next 3 years. We set up some pre-approved startup kits for the franchisees to order and the district managers to order. We connected to a number of vendors, whether it was printers, promo items, people, or anything else they wanted from the East Coast to the West Coast. Marketing loved this as well because the franchisees long-term, they weren't asking marketing to make changes to their menus, whether it was a phone number, an address change, or a price change. Anything marketing would change or was willing to change, the franchisee could change. And so they didn't have to do it themselves. They didn't have to deal with marketing as far as, marketing making the changes. A lot of people don't realize this, but if you have, 100 end users out there and you want to spend 5 minutes, they have a 5-minute change. They said it's just a 5-minute change. But if you have 100 requests coming into marketing, that's 100 times 5 minutes that marketing has to deal with. So Ontrack eliminates that. So it's definitely a easier way to do this. And once again, we'll just kind of keep moving and stay on track. Sheila?
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we have another poll question. With our last poll question, we asked you how the average employee switches back and forth between over 1,000 times. So our second poll question asks, organized marketers are how much more likely to meet their goals? So it's 78%, 256%, or 397%. What's the percentage of organized marketers? How likely are they to meet their goals being organized? So I'll give you a second to answer that.
Seeing results trickle in.
Okay. All right, how did we do?
25% correct.
Once again, one smart marketer out there. So did you know that the most organized marketers are 397% more likely to be successful at their goals? So keeping everything organized can definitely be a challenge for marketers. We have a lot of assets, we have a lot of users, and sometimes a lot of locations to wrangle. And we all know that feeling of being caught in an endless loop of change orders, revisions, and approval requests. A marketing asset management solution like Ontrack can help us by simplifying and even automating these workflows and can save you a lot of your valuable time. Next slide. So this brings us to our second way that Ontrack brings you big value. David is going to walk us through workflows and multi-level approvals to help automate some of your repeat tasks. So David, back to you.
All right, great. So we'll go ahead and start with this. Workflow is pretty simple. It's any business task that takes a number of steps through the business. So we're going to start. This is the very basic of basic task. Ordering a simple business card. The current way that we found most people do it is this way. And if they don't have a workflow solution of any kind, then they will typically do this. So we'll walk through this. A user might go in and they say, hey, I need new business cards. They're going to email it to their manager, say I need new business cards. They're going to go ahead and send it off to purchasing. Purchasing is going to contact the vendor. They're going to request a proof and maybe submit a PO. And from there, the vendor sends back the proof approval to the sales rep. It reverses the process. Day 8, maybe, if you're lucky, sometime between 6 and 8 days, you're going to get the sales rep's business card back. And if there's a typo, the whole process starts over again, back to the vendor, back to make changes, back to the sales reps. And finally, maybe by day 10, we have a proof approved and off to the print vendor for some new business cards. So the number of workflow items this is just the number of steps it takes and the time that's required in this. And also the fact is that the sales rep now is looking at 2 to 3 weeks to get their business cards, which is crazy. So once we put this into Ontrack, we'll show you how fast we can get this done. We'll go ahead to the next slide. So in Ontrack, it's set up, the employee places their order for their business cards. They get an instant proof approval through the system. Then they place the order, the manager gets an email notification, they can hit approve, and then it goes to purchasing for a PO assignment, or it can go directly to the vendor. It can go to, it can make a number of stops. If it was a different asset than a business card, it could go to marketing for approval or legal or any number of stops that would automate this whole process. But there wouldn't be emails going out. It would be as far as the trying to track down which item it was. So it's a much faster process. And to show you how this works, I think we're going to go ahead and skip through and we'll go on to the homepage. So we're going to say when Bill Smith logs in to order business cards, it's pretty simple. All the information is already populated from his profile. So Bill Smith, if he wanted to go in and make a phone number change, he would. If he wanted to eliminate his mobile number, then he could, and it would eliminate it off the business card. But everything's already pre-populated from his profile. So hopefully the information that he keyed in the first place was correct, but he will get a sign off from here. So anyways, we can make that process go forward. Now this is a simple business card. Maybe you say, hey, what happens if it's a more complex document, something that somebody might need InDesign to create. So we'll skip to the next one. So here's something that's a little bit more complex. And so from here, marketing is determined, this is a flyer. This is a lunch and learn flyer. So they've determined, hey, we've got a select number of images they can pick. So they're going to go in, select a new image. They can change the headline. They can change the color schemes. These are all based on the branding standards of this company. They can change the content. They can change certain things, logos, everything else. but the fact is you can get them done in just a few minutes. You don't have to have any design skills whatsoever. It is just a, populate and move on. And the end result is, let's go on to the next slide. We started out with before, this is what it looked like, and then same flyer, but at the end, here's the after editing. Once again, no design skills. They've added 4 presenters, swap logos, swap color themes, everything else. And once again, marketing's already pre-approved this. This now can take the step of going to marketing for approval. They can print it out on their own desktop printer. They can submit it to a commercial printer, or they can send it out as an email. It's completely up to the customers on how they want this process to work. So no matter what it is that you have, you definitely can put any kind of asset out there and keep people moving forward and keep them on track. All right, I'm gonna stop dropping that. All right, so anyways, here's a success story. This is a multi-location business, and the problem they had obviously is they have hundreds of users, hundreds of locations, and they had hundreds of documents and items that these locations needed to have access to. So after putting everything on Ontrack, they had multiple logos. They had multiple, I think these were communities. I think this was a senior living center, but they had multiple logos, multiple color themes. And so we were able to segment everything based on user groups inside Ontrack. And the users, when they logged on, they only got to see the stuff for their communities. So it prevented them from ordering the wrong items. And because everything was already pre-approved by marketing on what their changes could be made, or what the changes could be made, it eliminated the approval process because it was a self-service and they could make the changes. Now you can still set up the workflow for the approval process, but it streamlined it because it wasn't any surprises. There was no surprises whatsoever since marketing had already approved everything. So this was a great success story. It saved them hundreds of hours a year. And on top of that, it set up the ability for them to scale immensely. So, all right.
Excellent, thanks. Okay, so we have another poll question. This next one is actually very near and dear to my heart as I live this every day as a marketer. Wondering how many marketers feel pressured or feel increasingly pressured to show ROI. Is it 42%, 68%, or 75%? I'll give you a second to answer that. How many of you guys are feeling pressured constantly to show an ROI for your efforts?
This is a tricky one. I can speak to this as well, but
yeah, it is.
Awesome. So we're back at a quarter, correct? A lot of people went 75%.
I thought it would be a little bit higher than it actually is, but according to Adobe, 68% of marketing professionals say they feel more pressure to show ROI. It's sometimes difficult for us to really prove the financial impact that we have for our efforts. And it's so important to make sure you have easy access to the data that you need to calculate that ROI. So go to the next slide. And of course, Ontrack has you covered with this. We are able to help you with all of your tracking and reporting needs to really easily connect that revenue back to your marketing efforts. And David's going to show us this functionality and discuss how one of our large enterprise clients set a new international benchmark for the ROI that they're seeing from their sales teams that are using Ontrack. So David, over to you.
All right, great. So what we have here is some basic tools that to show you your reporting tools that are inside Ontrack. Obviously, we have an admin panel, and in the back office, you can create as many custom reports as you want. We also have a very robust API that can be connected to HubSpot, Salesforce, or anything else, Tableau, anything else that you might want to utilize to track your stuff. But tracking your ROIs and getting the reports out is so important. So with the system, you're able to go back and track your campaigns, track what was used as far as how many sales reps actually utilize the campaign, and really go back and determine what your true customer acquisition costs are. Along with this, we can go to the next slide too. And along with this, you can actually find out what documents were used by users. So maybe you set up some new marketing tactics, and you want to make sure that all the communities or all the sales reps are accessing. You can actually go through and you can determine, which people are accessing the stuff that you've created. And so if they're not accessing it, then you can actually let them know to download it and keep using it. But it's a great way to track everything, not just ROIs, but usage as well, all the way down to logos, down to, just, I mean, anything that's been downloaded off the system, so you can see what is working for people. But coming back to ROIs, you have a marketing budget and you have to, show the winners and the losers. And it's a very easy way to do that. So once you determine the winners, then you can set your company on track to continue for growth and increase sales. I know, I'm just throwing that out. All right, so I think that's about it. But we had a success story on this. So this is a large enterprise, and the information we got back from them was that the sales reps using the Ontrack system had a 48% higher close rate. They were able to track that, which is just unbelievable. And so what happened, they had the sales reps that weren't using Ontrack, and they went back and told them this. And of course, salespeople want more sales. So they got everybody on track. So this was a huge success story for this organization. It's a large organization, and it really set some new benchmarks for them. So, all right. So Sheila, I think off to you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another question. So many of you have large budgets for business gifts. And with this next poll, tell us how big you think the business gifting industry is. Is it 500 million, 50 billion, or 125 billion? How big is the business gifting industry? All right.
I think people are noticing a pattern because we did well this time.
Oh, good.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and end it. Everyone got it correct, actually, which
bravo.
Would not expect.
I know, right? This stat actually blew my mind. So the gifting industry is 125 billion with a B dollars. And if you have a large budget, a large portion of your budget that goes towards gifting, you want to make sure that it's delivering that ROI back through happy customers and strong business results. So you can go to the next slide. We've seen so many success stories of users who leveraged business gifting to gain access. It's moved their opportunities through the pipeline more quickly, and it's even helped them close their deals. So David's going to take us through some example of using Ontrack's sending function to manage business gifting.
All right, great. So here, obviously, we swiped this from the sales enablement platform, but the top gifts, a lot of corporations are using these things to get in front of their customers. Back before, when we had the gatekeepers set up, it was hard to get past them. And now all of a sudden, when COVID hit, nobody could actually go through the front door. So the gifting aspect of things has really taken off, and getting their message across and being able to get in front of people with different swag, is definitely an option. People use this. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide as well. People use this for different things. So you can use it for sales enablement tools, obviously, to get warm calls set up, but you can also use it for your onboarding, for your HR. You can use it for anniversaries, or you can use it for birthday gifts. You can use it for anything else. We have something that's called a triggered marketing campaign or a marketing plan that we can connect it back to your CRM. So when an event happens, a gift is automatically, an order is automatically placed for that individual, and it goes out the door. Now we have a vendor that's connected to Ontrack. So we do have a network of vendors. We can connect any one of your vendors to the system as well. But we have a vendor that actually can produce one-off boxes. So you can actually have a custom kit that could say, hey, on the outside of the box where it says Ontrack Workflow, it could actually say, Bill Smith, this is especially for you. So, and we can go on to the next slide. You can have, handwritten note cards in there. You can have custom written note cards. You can have e-gift cards. One of the things that Ontrack offers is a way to send out a video card or a video message where the end user can take their iPhone, for example, record a message. Hey, Bill Smith, this is David. I just want to get this across to you. Or the CEO can actually have a nice little greeting for all your new hires going out the door, or anniversaries, and it's an easy way to do it. They can also pick from canned videos to go through the system as well. All right, we'll go to the next one. And of course, we get the sweet treats. So everybody wants this. They want cookies going out. We have vendors that will put logos on cookies. You can do the wine tasting events. You can send out anything that you want through the system. It doesn't matter to us. We just want to make sure that it gets to your customers. So this is a great tool to use for your brand asset management, your sales enablement, a simple source of truth just for one consistent platform for everybody to access. The nice part about this is as you go through growth, you can connect your vendors to the system and you're not using their system. So if you want to replace a vendor, it's very easy. You unplug them, plug a new one back in, and you end up keeping all your organization, all your people, everybody on track. So no matter what assets you have, you can put them out here and we can help you streamline your organization. Today we got through just kind of a fraction of what Ontrack can do, but we will have more and more webinars. And so if you get an opportunity to set up a demo and see how we can get your organization on track, it'd be fantastic. All right, Sheila, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so speaking of business gifting, it's time for us to choose our winner for today's gift. Of course, we're going to be using our very own Ontrack portal to select, package, and send out today's gift. So when I call your name, I'd like for you to type "I'm here" into the chat to win. And let's see. Okay. All right, Joy Stanton-Hurst. Are you here? You have to be near your keyboard. Yay, she's here. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Joy. All right, so I'll reach out to you directly through email to get your shipping address, and congratulations again. All right, so we have reached the end of the webinar of the content portion, but let's move on to our Q&A. And I know that you've been patiently waiting, and we've collected, I think we've got some questions, but so let's go ahead and get started. Take a look. Yeah, so we have a couple of questions, but go ahead and add some more if you'd like to. So David, the first question that we have is, how can I convince my marketing leadership that we need to invest in a platform?
That's a great question. Great question. I think that the easiest way to convince them is, we talk about the changes and the requests for changes people make. I think one of the biggest things, getting people across or getting the point across that you're not trying to take anybody's job when it comes down to it. But once you get over that hurdle, because people are like, they look at it and say, hey, that's what I do, that's my job. But once they realize this is actually an asset to them, it's a tool that works 365 days a year, taking these requests, the marketing team frees up their time to focus on the future. So I think that when it comes down to it, it's very easy to convince them once you show them, that hey, they don't have to deal with the changing the existing collateral. They can actually focus on future growth. So that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay. All right, looks like we have another question. What should I consider when evaluating different platforms?
Another good question. I'm going to go ahead and say that the number one thing to consider is that the word Ontrack is in the title, but I know that's probably a biased opinion. But at the same time, when you're trying to consider this, we'll break it down to a very simple way. So every store out there, every location, every business, you could have two identical businesses side by side, same furniture, same building, same computer system. It always boils back down to the people or what make the difference. And so, at Ontrack, our focus is primarily, it's all about the customer. Our philosophy is what's good for our customers are good for the company and not the other way around. And I think that, being able to make sure that the company that you're looking at can solve all your pain points is the number one key. So definitely, I think that the people are the most important thing when you're trying to decide which company to go with, and then obviously identifying the pain points.
Excellent. Yep, I can attest to all of that. And as a happy client, now I'm a happy employee. So it's a great place to be. Any other questions? Go ahead and put them into the chat box. But David, did you want to wrap up with any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I think that, obviously time is very important to us, and streamlining everything. I think we had 45 minutes set out for this thing, and I knew I could get it done faster. So, I think if you get an opportunity to send an email to us or request a demo, we'd love to hear from you. and any demos coming from here, I will try and hop on as well. But trying to identify the pain points and streamline the way your organization is currently doing their business, so you can actually grow and scale. I think is just something that's going to be here for a long time, and it helps everybody out. So if you get a chance and you want to help get your company on track, and you can put all your assets on track. That's about all I've got. So thank you very much, Sheila, and thank you all for your time. 100%.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have an email address on the screen. If you have any questions or would like a demo, please feel free to send us a note. We're also going to send the recording link to you, to your inboxes. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll post it on ontrackworkflow.com, so you can feel free to share it with your colleagues. And we appreciate your time today and hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.